I got into my dream college, full scholarship. I ran to tell my mom. She didn't look up from her phone and said, "That's cute, but who's going to watch your nephews?" I thought she was joking until she said, "You can't leave me to do everything alone." "You're not going." My sister smiled and said, "You're being selfish again." I cried myself to sleep that night. 2 years later, I watched my sister post a picture from my dorm room, bragging about her second chance at life. But then her professor emailed me by mistake. 2 years ago, I got into the University of Michigan on a full scholarship. Tuition, housing, books, everything was covered. I earned it. Straight A's all through high school, top of my class, part-time job, babysitting my sister's kids while she went out partying. I still found a way to do it all. I remember when the email came in. It was a Thursday evening right after dinner. I was doing dishes and checking my phone. When I saw the subject line, I dropped the plate in the sink. My hands were shaking. "Congratulations," it said. I screamed, ran down the hallway, straight to the living room. My mom was on the couch, phone in hand, watching some dumb video and yelling at my nephew to stop jumping on the cushions. I stood in front of her and said, "Mom, I got in. Full ride to Michigan." She didn't even look at me. Just scrolled and said, "That's cute. But who's going to watch your nephews?" I stared at her. I thought she was joking. "I'm serious," I said. "It's a full scholarship. I can go to college. I don't have to stay here anymore." She looked up, rolled her eyes, and said, "You're not leaving me to deal with everything alone." "You're not going." That was it. No congratulations. No smile. Just that. And then my sister Marissa walked in, licking ice cream off a spoon. "Wow," she said. "You're being selfish again. You think the world revolves around you? You think college means you get to just run off while we stay here and suffer." I couldn't even speak. My chest hurt. My eyes burned. I felt like my throat was closing up. I went back to my room, shut the door, and cried myself to sleep. I didn't even tell my best friend. I felt embarrassed. Ashamed. Like maybe they were right. Maybe I was selfish. The next day, I came home from work and my acceptance letter was gone. I asked Mom where it was. She shrugged and said, "I think I threw it out." "You didn't need it anyway." I tried to call the school. I emailed. I begged for more time. But the deadline passed. The scholarship was given to someone else. My spot was gone. From that point on, I was stuck. I took care of Marissa's kids while she went out and did whatever she wanted. She had another baby, different dad, also gone. Mom started blaming me for more things. "Why didn't you cook? Why is the baby crying? If you had helped more, maybe this house wouldn't be such a mess." I worked at the Food Lion near our house in Kalamazoo. I saved every dollar I could. Tried to plan. But things kept happening. Mom's car broke down. Rent was short. Kids needed shoes. I'd come home with my paycheck and be told, "We need you right now, not later." Every time I said I wanted to leave, I was told, "You owe us. After everything we've done for you." 2 years passed like that. I was 20. Still stuck. Still waking up to screaming kids, cooking for a house I didn't ask for, and watching the life I wanted slip away. Then one morning, I was scrolling Instagram while eating dry toast in the kitchen, trying to drown out the sound of cartoons blasting in the living room. That's when I saw it. It was a photo of Marissa. In a dorm room. Sitting on a bed with Michigan colors. Wearing a Michigan hoodie. My dream room. My dream school. The caption said, "Second chance at life, folded hands, so grateful for my fresh start. #Youth Michigan, #blessed. I dropped my phone. I clicked on her profile. More pictures. Campus buildings. Her at the student union. Her holding books and smiling like she'd worked for it. Like she earned it. My heart was pounding. I felt sick. The next week, I got an email. The subject line was, "Sociology Group Project, Week 4 Teams Assigned." It was from Dr. Elaine Marks, University of Michigan. I stared at the screen. The email was addressed to me. My full name. My real email. I thought it was spam. Or some mistake. But when I opened it, it was a legit message from a professor. Details about a class. Teams. Assignments. It even had a university footer and phone number. I checked the student portal it linked to. Logged in with my name. And I saw everything. Class schedule. Grades. Financial aid. Campus meal plan. Marissa had stolen my identity. She applied to Michigan using my transcripts. My name. My essay. My application. She'd taken my social security number, probably from when we shared a room, and I kept documents in the top drawer. She got in. And now she was living the life that was meant to be mine. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the email from Dr. Marks, rereading the sentence that proved it. She was enrolled as me. My name. My ID number. My classes. She didn't just steal a dream. She stole my identity. I kept thinking back to the times I caught her going through my things. To when Mom asked strange questions like, "What's your login for that school site again?" Stuff I'd brushed off. Stuff I now realized was part of a plan. I took screenshots of everything. The email, the student portal, her dorm photos. I even checked the school's online directory. There it was. My name, listed with her photo. She wasn't even hiding it. I guess she thought I was too buried in diapers and bills to ever find out. The next day, I called the university's registrar office. I didn't tell them everything yet. Just asked if they had a student on file with my name and birthday. "Yes, we do," the woman said. "Can I help you update your information?" I hung up. I needed to think. If I went to them, what would happen? Would they believe me? Would they think I was the fraud? But that wasn't the only thing that scared me. I didn't know how much damage Marissa had done under my name. Student loans? Credit cards? What if she tanked my future while building her fake one? I went to the bank, checked my credit report. There it was. A student loan in my name. Even though I had a full scholarship 2 years ago, she must have applied for loans after she lost the scholarship again. Or lied to get more money. She was living off it. I felt sick. I sat in my car in the parking lot, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Then I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I walked into a law office downtown. I didn't have much money, but I found one with a free consultation. A man named Mr. Carver talked to me in a small office that smelled like old coffee. I showed him the proof. The emails. The pictures. The credit report. He didn't blink. "You need to report this now. File an identity theft report. Contact the school. The loan company. The police, too." He said it would be messy. That families don't come out of this kind of thing clean. That once it started, there was no going back. I nodded. "Good," I said. "I don't want to go back." I went home and printed everything. I filled out the identity theft report. I made a police report. Then I wrote an email to the university and attached all the evidence. 3 days later, they responded. The subject line read, "Urgent. Verification required. Possible identity misuse." I was assigned a caseworker. They said they were starting an investigation immediately. They took it seriously, especially because of the federal loan fraud. They asked me to confirm things only I would know, like details from my high school classes, my essay topics, even the date I took the SAT. I sent it all. That weekend, I waited for hell to break loose. I didn't say a word to Marissa or Mom. I acted normal. I changed the Netflix password just to mess with her, watched her storm around the house complaining. "Ugh, some glitch or something," she said. "Tech's always screwing up." She had no idea her entire fake life was about to fall apart. It all came crashing down faster than I thought. On Tuesday morning, a black sedan pulled into our driveway. 2 men in suits stepped out. One had a folder. The other had a badge. I was in the kitchen making oatmeal when Marissa looked out the window. "OSH*T, she whispered. Is that cops? They knocked. Mom opened the door, smiling like she was about to ask for donations. Her face dropped when they showed their badges. Is Marissa here? One of them asked. She turned slowly and called out, Marissa? Come here. Marissa walked to the door with that fake, clueless smile she always wore. Can I help you? The guy holding the folder asked her name. She said, Marissa. He cut her off. We're investigating federal student loan fraud and identity theft. Are you aware you've been attending the University of Michigan under a different identity? I stood in the hallway, heart pounding, watching her face crumble. I don't know what you're talking about, she stammered. There must be a mistake. That's when Mom jumped in. Wait, what's going on? She's just a student. She didn't do anything wrong. The man opened the folder. The loans are in her sister's name. Classes are under her sister's ID. Financial aid, housing, even test scores. It's identity theft, ma'am. Serious federal charges. Marissa looked right at me then. Her face was pale, eyes wide. I didn't say anything, just stared. She lunged at me. UB*TCH, she screamed. You think you're better than me? You just want to ruin my life because I actually did something with it. The cops stepped between us. I didn't move. Mom was crying now. Why would you do this to your own sister? She asked me. That hit me harder than it should have. You knew, I said quietly. You knew she took my papers. My ID. You let her do it. Mom didn't answer. The officers arrested Marissa that day. Took her out in handcuffs. The neighbors watched from their porches. One of the kids started crying. Mom sat on the couch, head in her hands, not saying a word. I thought it was over. But the fallout was just starting. The school called me again. They said they were cleaning up the records, restoring my real name to the right files. They offered a meeting with the admissions board. Said they'd never seen a case like this before and they wanted to talk about options. Then a week later, I got a letter from the Department of Education. Turns out Marissa had taken out more loans than I knew about. Not just for school, she'd used my name for rent on an off-campus apartment. Credit cards. Even a car lease. The debt was in my name. And they were coming for it. I spent the next few weeks drowning in paperwork. Even though I filed identity theft reports, even though Marissa was arrested and there was a full investigation, the system moved slow. Credit agencies still had me marked for $42,000 in student debt. The car lease company kept calling to ask about missed payments. Some companies said they'd note the dispute, but interest kept building. Meanwhile, Mom walked around the house like I was the criminal. Cold shoulder. Silent treatment. She barely spoke to me except to say, you didn't have to take it that far. I was working double shifts, trying to pay for a lawyer to help sort the mess. I was exhausted, angry, and alone. Then the final straw came. One night, I got home to find a notice taped to the front door. Eviction. Mom hadn't paid rent in 2 months. Said she thought you were handling it with all your big plans. Her words, not mine. We had 10 days to leave. That night, while they were asleep, I packed my things. Everything I owned fit into 2 suitcases and a trash bag. I left a note on the table that just said, I'm not your backup plan anymore. I stayed with a friend for a while. Then I heard back from Michigan. The admissions board had reviewed my case. They apologized, said they were horrified by what had happened. They couldn't undo the lost time, but they offered me a spot in the next semester, with housing, with a counselor, and with a statement in writing that I was the only person who should ever have been enrolled. I started fresh that fall. New dorm. Real classes. Real professors who called me by my name. But I wasn't done. I filed a civil suit against Marissa. For damages, emotional distress, and identity theft. She had pleaded guilty in court, took a deal to avoid prison, but she still owed restitution. I made sure the judge saw every email, every photo, every loan. She had to pay me back every cent. Her wages were garnished. Her refund checks were seized. Every tax season, I got a little more of my stolen life back, piece by piece. Mom moved out of state to live with one of our cousins. We haven't spoken in a year. Last I heard, she was working part-time at a gas station and still blaming the ungrateful one for the way things turned out. Some nights, I still think about that moment, me, standing in the living room, telling her I got into Michigan. And her saying, "That's cute." Now I have a different answer. No, it's not cute. It's justice. And I made it happen. On my own. Without them. The future I was forced to watch get stolen? I built it anyway. And I made damn sure they watched me walk away.